But we'll go ahead and get started because we have a lot of really good information for you. And so we've got our partners from Total Rewards that are joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Melissa to kick us off with introductions.
Hello, everybody. Excited that you are here. I hope people, if you're in one of the city county buildings, that you've gone to the wellness fair in the city county building. It is great. We are excited though to do the this lunch and learn HR Insights today. I have Doug Strain. He is our Mutual of Omaha. Well, I don't know exactly what your official title is, Doug, but he's our Mutual of Omaha guy. I'll let him tell you a little more about himself, but we're excited to see what he has to tell us, some benefits that maybe people aren't even aware of through Mutual. So, Doug, have at it.
Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, no, it's nice to meet you all. Thanks for having me too, and for taking some time out of your busy schedules. I'm hoping this is going to be, very useful, beneficial information for you all. But yeah, again, my name is Doug Strain. So I'm the client executive for both the city of Lincoln and Lancaster County. So what that means is I'm kind of the main point of contact for your HR team with anything mutual related. So benefits questions, billing things, enrollment things, whatever. I kind of am the quarterback for a lot of that. So work with them a lot behind the scenes, but up to and including things like this, where we can make sure that we're being consultative and educational, so you know exactly how your benefits can work for you. So I've been with Mutual a couple of years. I've been in the insurance industry doing this kind of work for about 10. So it's very near and dear to my heart. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing some information with you today. But as far as arrangements go, Christy, Melissa, do you guys have anything that you'd like to add or mention before we jump into the presentation?
I don't. I think we can go ahead and get going.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. Well, we'll go ahead, move forward here. Okay, perfect. So purpose of this session, everyone, is again, the goals are just to make sure we provide you with a clear, kind of employee-friendly overview of a lot of these benefits. You know, people like Christy and Melissa and I, we work with these every day, but we realize this isn't something that, that's constantly atop of your mind. So we want to just make sure that we can, kind of just give you some education and awareness about how these benefits work. This is not meant to be an enrollment push or a sales focused meeting of any kind. We mainly just want to make sure we answer any questions you might have and help you kind of see how these benefits are functioning for you. So again, this is just, kind of focusing more on the foundational benefits. You'll have very specific benefit summaries that kind of articulate, more finite details of each of these benefits that can be provided to you at a later time. We're kind of wanting to keep this a little more high level just to help you understand, how they work. I'll also throw in there too, in addition to me talking throughout this, we want to keep this very conversational as well. So, active participation questions. We're going to have a couple poll questions and things too along the way. So if you have any questions or things you're still, have some residual issues on, I'll stop periodically to check in on you guys and just see, if there's anything you'd like a little more information on. And then again, rest assured, we'll have a lot more resources and information available for you after this too. So Melissa, do you want to run with this one?
It's like orange screen. So just a chat question. Let's move away from spring and summer. When you hear life insurance, in any way, in any context, what is the first word that comes to mind? And I'll give you, if you want to do more than one word, I'm good with that. But just let us know in the chat. Oh, death. That's that seems pretty harsh. But it's
true. You're right though. You're insuring against that, true. Right? Future planning, very nice. We'll talk about that too.
Very good.
And yeah, Autumn, I hear you. Cost is a big deal, right? even with some of these benefits, or some of this is subsidized by your employer. That's always kind of the bottom line. So we want to make sure you guys have that information too. Funeral,
Those are
I like
good
that.
things, Jody.
Yeah, very cool. We're going to talk about that too. So some really nice offerings too with respect to some of the value adds that Mutual has too. Well, cool.
Okay.
Thanks for the
Keep
insights, guys.
Keep them coming, and we'll let Doug continue on.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, just a basic overview about kind of what we're going to talk about today. Primarily, we're gonna discuss a little bit about your core employer paid coverages. So like the basic life that is provided to you by your employer, regardless of whether or not you elect. We'll also talk a little bit about voluntary life insurance, which can supplement that. So this is kind of a nice offering that gives you a little more flexibility and access to additional protection amounts, just kind of based on your individual needs. And then, of course, we're also beyond that wanting to kind of share some of the value-added programs that Mutual of Omaha provides you to at no additional cost. So this is going to include things like your employee assistance resources, like an EAP, travel services, and we'll also have some legal prep tools like funeral prep. So again, those questions, concerns related to that, I think you'll really find some of those resources really helpful. But ultimately, again, the goal today is to make sure you understand the full scope of what's available to you so you can maximize the value of these benefits throughout the year for your family. So we got one more poll question here.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and launch this one. So the question, which of these benefits have you used before? You should have a poll question popping up in front of you. Go ahead and select what you've used before and click submit. So we have, I don't know if you all are able to see the answers as they're coming in, but we've got a lot of folks who have leveraged EAP, Continuum, or other. Some have leveraged legal services, but then we also have a lot of people who haven't leveraged the resources yet. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and close this. You can close it on your end too if it's still showing in front of you.
And I'll be honest, I always love to see 0% on life insurance. Nobody wants to use that benefit. I mean, absolutely never, right? It's one of those that's really good to have, but it's always a really horrible situation whenever it's necessary. I love that the EAP utilization is high too. That's really important as far as just even preventatively staying ahead of some of the more stressful situations that you might encounter in just your day-to-day life. So very nice. Well, let's get started with just life insurance in general, just kind of an overview of this. Again, this is something that everybody, it was mentioned, financial planning, life planning is important. It's a pretty essential component of a comprehensive financial plan. So again, it's not really pleasant to think about this kind of stuff, but we know it exists to give stability financially to loved ones when circumstances are arising where income and support get suddenly lost because of something like this. So employer paid coverages, it kind of offers a nice starting point, but understanding that purpose kind of helps you to be able to evaluate whether additional coverage might be necessary for your family. But yeah, these benefits can assist you with immediate and long-term expenses. It just kind of depends. So immediate needs could include things like funeral services, uncovered medical expenses, outstanding debts. But ongoing needs can also involve things like mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, insurance premiums, things that don't really go away after the loss of a loved one that may be providing those beforehand. So in some cases also, it can play a role in supporting future goals, things like funding an education for your children, or also helping preserve a nest egg, your retirement plans. But the bottom line is understanding those functions kind of helps you to view it not as like kind of this distant in the back of your head benefit, but something you can proactively use to plan. So that's really what we kind of want to share a little bit more about today. So let's start with that employer paid basic life insurance coverage. So the basic life and accidental death and dismemberment, we'll often abbreviate that to AD&D. This is a benefit that, again, is covered by your employer. It's paid by them, and it's provided to all eligible employees of both City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. So this is meant to offer, again, that kind of a foundational level of protection, and it's no cost to you. Your employer covers all of that. Just gives you a little bit of peace of mind, making, having that eligibility, if you meet those requirements. So it's highlighted on the slide here. This is available to all eligible employees. So that would be individuals working at least 30 hours a week. And then you gain that coverage if you're newly hired after a 180-day eligibility waiting period. And then once you're eligible, that coverage becomes effective the first day of the month following that. So after 6 months, it's the first of the month after. But under that benefit, you're eligible for a flat life insurance amount. And then the AD&D portion is going to mirror that amount. That's an additional benefit that's available if there's a qualifying accidental loss of life. So it's something where you'll have one flat number and it matches that if there's an accidental death. So a car accident, let's say, versus cancer diagnosis, something along those lines. It also has some enhanced protections that offer a prorated amount, things like if there's paralysis or maybe loss of a limb, things along those lines too. And there's a lot more information available for those if you ever do have any questions. One thing I always like to highlight, though, with this benefit is there is a really important feature called living benefits. It's also called an accelerated death benefit. There's a few different names for it, but that provision is in place. So if you are diagnosed with a terminal condition while you're insured, you can request an advance payment of your life insurance benefit while you're still alive. So that advance can be up to 80% of the life insurance amount that's available. And this is available both on the basic life and also voluntary coverages. So, and those funds can be used at your discretion. So whether you want to use them to cover medical expenses or household costs, any financial needs that you might have during that obviously very difficult time frame, that's also an option that you might be eligible for too. Also includes several continuation options that can help you protect coverage during significant life events. So you might be able to continue coverage during approved leaves, a layoff, periods of injury or sickness, and a waiver of premium option can also apply in events where you may be totally disabled, which would allow you to continue your coverage without premium payments. So also if coverage ends or reduces, you also have the option to port your coverage or convert it to an individual life insurance policy. And it is important to call out there are some age-based benefit reductions that begin at age 70, and they do increase as you age, which is pretty standard for group life insurance plans, but it's always something that we can field specific questions on a case-by-case basis if you're just wanting to have a better understanding of how your benefits might change there too. Like I mentioned before, as far as specific amounts go, since there's variance from different classes and things, you'll have a specific benefit summary that provides those details to you. But that's just kind of the basic life in a nutshell. Are there any questions on this coverage before we move on to voluntary life? Okay, good stuff. Well, if anything comes up as we talk, again, please feel free to drop that in the chat so we can address those too. Well, let's move on to voluntary life. So this is, again, it's meant to supplement what's already provided by your employer, and it gives you the option of selecting additional amounts of protection that might align better with your personal financial responsibility. So you can elect this coverage for yourselves and where applicable also for eligible family members. And that flexibility is nice because it really helps you customize things based on factors that your employer obviously can't calculate, right? whether you have dependents that you have to take care of, if you have debt obligations, or mortgage considerations, and also if your goal is to replace lost income over a longer period of time, this benefit is something that can help you do that. One of the biggest things I really like to highlight with voluntary life coverage through your employer specifically is the accessibility, but also financially, how it's more accessible. It's often it's available at a group rate. So what that means is instead of an individual life insurance coverage where all of the underwriting is assessed on you and you alone, it's spread out over the entire company. So because of that, underwriting is a little easier. The risk is a little easier to spread out too. And what that means for you is the premiums are a lot lower than typically most individual policies would be. You're also able to take advantage of a higher volume of a benefit, a larger benefit, for less money. So they're really nice to take advantage of. Also, payroll deduction simplifies premium payments. Obviously, that makes coverage easier to maintain and manage as well. But it's also particularly valuable for employees that are experiencing life changes. So getting married, having a child, buying a home, having the option to increase that protection as needed through your workplace really makes things a little more convenient and helps you manage that financial security a little better, again, without having to worry about independent underwriting processes. So just a little bit more about the specifics of your voluntary life program. Again, it does have that AD&D benefit associated with this too, which again matches the amount that you elect. So it's available, and again, the eligibility requirements the same. So working at least 30 hours a week, and the amount you can elect varies. So it's listed here. The coverage can range from $10,000 to $500,000 for employees. It is important to call out, though, that is capped at 5 times your annual earnings. So, for example, if somebody made $120,000 a year, they would only be able to elect up to $500,000 in coverage. Plan also extends coverage to eligible dependents. So spouses can be insured for amounts between $5,000 and $100,000. That's in increments of 5K. And that one also has a little bit of a cap. It's up to 50% of whatever you, the employee, have elected for yourself. But dependent children can also be insured for amounts from $1,000 to $10,000. But one of the most valuable ongoing features, and part of the reason that this is being introduced now, so you can kind of start thinking about it a little bit, is the annual increase option that's available on your voluntary life. So what that means is that you as the employee can request increases of up to $10,000 per year. So over time, that kind of helps you gradually build your coverage as your financial responsibilities might grow. And that's really important come open enrollment season, that you kind of are able to take advantage of that and review that, because that $10,000 increase is not subject to any medical questions or evidence of insurability, as it's called. So important to keep that in mind. And again, those same continuation options are available for the voluntary life too. So portability, if your employment ends, being able to convert that to an individual policy. And again, those age reductions do take effect with this one as well. But again, most people will agree that, those features kind of make voluntary life a really nice option, just to, keep things adaptable for your needs with a long-term financial plan. So I just threw a whole bunch at you guys. Any questions on the vol life as far as how that works, or anything relating to that annual increase? Stuff. All right. So now we'll move into some of those value add benefits that we mentioned. So in addition to insurance coverage, Mutual of Omaha also gives you a series of services that are designed to kind of help support you more holistically, not just a financial number, a financial amount. These services are automatically included as part of your life insurance coverage, so there's no additional premiums associated with them. You can take advantage of them anytime you need. But one of the reasons we like to bring them up with these kinds of presentations is because, frankly, a lot of times they're very underutilized. A lot of that, simply comes down to the fact that people just aren't always aware that they're there and how they work, how to access them, that sort of thing. But these benefits include a number of different really nice features. So that's access to confidential counseling via an EAP, and your employer, Christy and Melissa are going to talk about some of those options a little bit later here too. There's also access to legal assistance, travel emergency services if you're abroad and run into trouble, and some wellness programs. So these services really address a lot of the practical challenges that you might face outside of something as catastrophic as a life event, like losing a life in your family. But by incorporating those into a benefits package, we really feel like it kind of reinforces the idea, again, employee well-being. It's beyond just traditional insurance. We want to make sure that you're able to kind of see these tools as resources that you can use throughout your career, not just during an emergency. So we're going to kind of jump into a few of those next. The first one we can chat through a little bit is that travel assistance I mentioned. So this is kind of just some peace of mind, and this includes domestic or international travel, but they can include medical referrals if you're in a situation where you need a hospital or a facility somewhere outside of where you're, outside your home. Emergency evacuation coordination. So if there's something really bad and you need to get out of a country very quickly. And then also assistance replacing travel documents. They can also provide access to professional support during unexpected travel situations. So it's kind of some nice different areas where they can assist with things, including emergency translation, interpreter services, things along those lines. But it's really handy to keep it in kind of in your back pocket, just as an option if you ever need, run into trouble while you're enjoying a holiday.
Doug, I have a question on this one.
Yeah.
So if I'm traveling, what do I need to have with me so that if I'm in an emergency and I need to take advantage of this, how do I get it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's very easy to access. In fact, there's that flyer that I sent over to you guys. It'll be available to employees later on, but at the bottom, it actually has like a little card, that you can stick in your wallet or whatever if you'd like to. It's just a toll-free number though that you call. And then they'll ask you who your employer is, who you're affiliated with, and then they'll have all of that information at the ready. So once they pull that up, they'll automatically be able to render a lot of that assistance to you.
Excellent. Thank you.
So, yeah, no, that's a great question. And I do want to call out, so there are additional expenses associated with a lot of these. So just keep that in mind. It can be very expensive, but I think maybe if you ever do need to be extradited from a country, but I think maybe the scarier part for a lot of people is figuring out how to even do that. And that's where this benefit really comes into play and is really great, because all you have to do is call a number and you have an advocate that is going to help you through the whole process. So it's kind of handy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and looks like, so John asks, we typically buy a travel insurance for if someone has to go to the ER. Does this cover that? The answer is that it does. There is some assistance associated with that. Again, it's kind of to what I mentioned earlier. It's less of a financial benefit in that they're giving you money to use towards an area, which is where travel insurance oftentimes becomes more beneficial. And it's more so helping direct you and guide you to where you need to go and how to go about doing it. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. And then again, there's a lot more information available, with not just that flyer, but also just in general, like some of those things. So keep an eye out for that resource. It kind of gives a really nice high level overview of that. For the sake of time, obviously, we can't do a deep dive into every single benefit that those have because it's pretty comprehensive. But yeah, that's kind of how it works in a nutshell. I personally always think, especially with how uncertain and crazy the world is now, that travel insurance is never a bad idea. So yeah, this honestly, it kind of just serves as a nice adjunct to that. Any other questions on the travel assistance though?
This is great timing to be talking about it, Doug, since we're getting into vacation season.
Right? There you go. Very cool. Okay, now, well, I'm going to back up a little bit here. Because I know there's a couple of different EAP programs that are available to you at City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. So before I jump into kind of some of the features of ours, I know I wanted to give Melissa and Christy a chance to kind of talk about some of your other EAP programs that are also available.
Sure. So we have this, we don't want to get it confused because, our city county EAP is with Continuum, and I know you receive a lot of information about Continuum. They provide the free 5 sessions per member, family member, per situation, per event. And they have a lot of training they do with us. I know actually they do some of the training for Christy, leadership training. So I don't want to get it confused because we have the EAP that we're able to access through Mutual of Omaha, but then we have the city county EAP through Continuum that provides that support to our employees. So just wanted to make sure two different things, 2 great benefits, but Continuum is our I don't want to say company, but it's our EAP that we utilize for the support of our employees, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice too. It's honestly, there's sometimes even some double dip opportunities with these two, which is a good call out because if you have a primary standalone EAP program through Continuum, a lot of, if you, let's say you run out or you max out your visits or something like that with them, it has no bearing on your access to ours. So you can utilize both of them. They're not going to be checking to see if you have if you're already running a program through somebody else. You can run both of these at your convenience and preference, as much as you like. So but yeah, so we'll more to come. I'm sure if you have questions on Continuum, that's always something, we can give you, that your employer can provide a little bit more information on. But we did want to talk through this a little bit, just as far as what benefits are available to you through your employer. And for some reason, this slide is not pulling up all of my information that I wanted to share. Is it just saying employee assistance program for you guys with a blank screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Bear with me 1 second here. I'm gonna try something. Sure you guys can see this information too. So
If whatever you're trying doesn't work, I don't know if you want to try like stopping your share and then resharing. And if that doesn't work, I'm always happy to share it from my end as well because I have your deck too.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing, Christy.
Okay.
yeah, I've got it pulled up here. Should be okay. Let me see. I'm gonna switch over from the live view to a different one here. Bear with me 1 sec. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay. So, All right. Yeah. So we'll talk about this a little bit more. So the EAP program, or Employee Assistance Program, as it's referred to with Mutual of Omaha, it does give you a few additional features. And again, the point of these programs is just, again, to support you through just some of life's more challenging situations that you face from day to day. Work pressures can affect your emotional health, your financial stability, your overall well-being, and that can impact other members of your family too. So this EAP gives you confidential professional resources that are going to help just kind of help you regain your balance, maybe if if you've had a situation that you're going through. So this is available 24/7, 365 a year, and it connects you with an in-house team of EAP professionals. They have master's level degrees, and they specialize in kind of assessing and guiding individuals, also referring when appropriate to different professionals, just based on your individual circumstances and what you're dealing with. So just make sure, it just ensures that you have access to a knowledgeable professional that really knows the nuance of a lot of personal, family, workplace issues, that sort of thing. Now, again, with Continuum, as was mentioned, you do have a few other benefits available. With the Mutual of Omaha EAP program that's available, it includes up to 3 confidential support calls per year per household. And it allows you as the employee or eligible family members to speak directly with an EAP professional. And again, those can be focused on anything you're dealing with. So, stress, anxiety, grief issues and concerns, relationship problems, or work-related pressures. This is just between you and that professional. It never leaves that conversation. And again, when it's appropriate, they can provide referrals to community-based resources, or even recommend counseling services that would be covered through your existing health insurance plan. But just kind of, again, like the travel protection, gives you just a little bit of assistance and hand-holding to coordinate a lot of that in a pretty stressful time of your life. So beyond that counseling support, though, there's also a pretty nice comprehensive suite of work life and wellness resources that it also unlocks for you too. So there's some online tools, educational materials, that cover topics like emotional well-being, financial wellness, as was mentioned, some legal assistance, and as it mentions on the slide there, that you have access to 1 free attorney consult once a year, as well as some discounts on other ongoing services depending on what you need assistance with. So just a couple of things high level that that might be available to you. And again, we do have a flyer that kind of highlights and outlines a lot of this in more detail. That legal support, I know in the poll that was called out that has been used before, which is great. It's a pretty valuable component of this because, again, it's giving access to legal libraries, tools, different forms, and even just being able to consult with a legal attorney to kind of talk through maybe situations that you might be dealing with can be really, really valuable. But then that discount is 25% off of any ongoing services too for the same issue. So if it's something where can't be resolved on a quick call, then that's something that you can continue to get a bit of a discount on too. And again, just to highlight, this does extend to your immediate family that reside in the same household as you. So that includes spouses and dependent children under the age of 26. So again, just keep that in mind that they're welcome to make the call and take advantage of these services as well. So let's see something here. Okay, perfect. This is one piece with all of this, because I know funeral preparation was something that was called out, as well as something specific to you guys that you were interested in. This is kind of an extension of that EAP program that Mutual of Omaha offers. And there's a little bit of a link down here. We'll make sure that you have access to that too. But this is a free, specifically a free kind of legal assistance adjacent, if you will, feature that you can take advantage of. So this is going to help you to quickly create a will using just a simple guided tool online. secure, easy to use. You can access it from any device, so smartphones or your desktop, things like that. And then it also can help you with creating other legal documents, things like power of attorneys or healthcare directives. So it's really handy. And something we always encourage anytime you have a major life event. If you're having a child, you're getting married, if you're relocating or having any big shakeup, it's never a bad idea just to give those documents a once over. And this is a really nice tool that you can really take advantage of as needed as well. So I just threw a lot of information at you guys. I guess we'll maybe stop for a moment and ask too, is there anything that you'd like to know more about? Oh, that is a really cool pro tip, Lyman. I've never heard that before. Pre-tax savers. That's a really good call. I don't know if you guys saw that in the chat, but yeah, with estate planning, large pre-tax dollars to beneficiaries. That's also a pretty common question, guys, when it comes to utilizing these benefits. So if you guys ever do find yourself dealing with one of these situations, just be assured that that claim specialist that's assigned to the case to assist the beneficiary, whether that's your beneficiaries that because of the loss of your life, or you if you're suffering the loss of a spouse or child, something like that, they will walk you through all of those tax questions to make sure you have a really clear picture of what that all looks like. Oh, travel assistance, roadside or vehicle assistance? That's a good question. I'm gonna bear with me a second here. I'm gonna stop sharing because I want to go back to my live view. I liked that. Sec.
I'm going to say, Doug, that I think that's a little out of the scope of the travel assistance because really a lot of it is more travel support. I think you could get information on who could help, but actual travel assistance would be something more through your vehicle insurance company, that sort of thing. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, but I think that that has been asked before in another situation.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, so I just to answer that specific question about travel assistance, roadside, that sort of thing. So not in and of itself, as far as roadside, like if you blow a tire on the side of the road or need a tow or something. However, it does feature something called a vehicle return. So let's say there's if a horrible situation like evacuation or repatriation, as it's called, is necessary. So say a war breaks out in the country you're in or something like that, and you have to get out really fast, they will make arrangements to return your unattended vehicle to the car rental company for you. So I know that is one feature that's available in the travel benefit. So yeah, I appreciate that with motorcycles, with tow trucks and things. That's a good call. But where could I find the rates for cost of the insurance coverage that's portable and up to age 70? Great question, Jody. So your benefit summary will have a table that will break that down for you, and it'll kind of give you an idea of how the amounts change with different age brackets and when those go into effect as well. So we can definitely get you more information on that.
That information is out on the intranet, but feel free to email HR benefits and we can send a copy, email a copy to you as well.
Sure. Any other questions though, as far as, like I say, I know we kind of threw a lot of a lot of stuff all at you as far as some of these different things, especially the value adds. That's a lot of, again, an area where with the AP and travel and stuff, I'm glad we're seeing questions on that because again, some people don't even realize that they exist, and it's really helpful to, just keep those in your back pocket as needed. But yeah, I know that with that travel assistance one specifically, the flyer breaks down a lot of information on those. In fact, I've tried to share it on these presentations before, and it never really comes out very good because it's like all shrunk down so much. So we'll certainly give you those resources, but hearing aid discounts. Melissa, Christy, I don't know that I have any information on that specifically. Do you know, is that something that you might offer through another one of your coverages?
Yeah, that was actually something I think that got included in the description at one point. There isn't a hearing aid discount through Mutual. There are hearing discounts through Emeritus. There's a program, but our health insurance, if you're on our health insurance, that actually covers hearing aids. So we cover hearing aids under our medical insurance, which is actually pretty unique compared to a lot of plans. So that is one thing to take into consideration.
That is pretty special. I'm kind of jealous now because I know ours doesn't. A lot of times hearing aids are excluded. So that's pretty cool that you guys have that built in. All right.
I am gonna real quick. So the life insurance specifically, obviously no changes can be made for voluntary life insurance until open enrollment. That will be in October for a 1/1/27 effective date, which seems ages away, but it really isn't. So, and then just to highlight that you have that 10,000 that you can increase without underwriting, and that can go up to that guarantee issue amount. So, once you hit the guarantee issue, I know he said you can't do the no underwriting for the $10,000. Underwriting's not tough to do. I mean, there's a form you fill out. We send it to you if you enroll in the voluntary coverage. So that's an easy step to take. And we actually contact you and send you that information ourselves.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And I think I think our average, because that question comes up to like how many are approved. I think the approval rate's over 80%. So it's we're usually pretty generous. Again, and the reason why is because again, they're underwriting, they're reviewing that risk not as just you and you alone. They're kind of spreading that out over a larger group and population. So even when EOI, evidence of insurability, is needed, a lot of times that they're okay and they'll push through. It's just more of a, kind of a formality.
Louise, in the event of an employee death, your family would want to contact HR benefits and we would get the process started.
Yep. And then our team would work directly with the beneficiary once that information's been established, if there's any documentation. But we try our absolute utmost to keep that as quick and streamlined and stress-free as possible because you guys families got a lot more to worry about than trying to figure out how to get their money in a situation like that. So as long as we have those beneficiary details, it's usually pretty quick.
For will prep appointment, there is the website. There's actually a website you go to for that. We would not have an appointment. That is also not necessarily will prep, but something Continuum can guide you in as far as legal assistance. But I'm probably the one person who did the legal assistance. I did the will prep just real quick because I'm gonna shamefully admit, I don't have anything, or I didn't. And so I thought it'd be good just to get something in writing out there. And it was really, really helpful. I printed it off and put it in my back pocket. So when I do go see an attorney, but I do have something that will cover me with that. So I recommend checking into that if you don't have something.
Yeah, and one thing I'll call out too, just to clarify as well, with the EAP at Mutual, that one legal consult with the attorney that you get every year, you can use that for will prep. What I would suggest is going to that website that we have and then working through that first. And then if you run into snags or it's like, I'm not really sure what I should do with that, flag all of those as you go. And then if you want to use that phone call, I think it's a 30-minute consult is what they allow. Then you could use that to kind of fill in the blanks, so to speak, where you need to. And then again, worst case scenario, if you need additional assistance with that, maybe you have a really complicated estate or something like that, then again, you have a discounted access to those legal services too. So good questions though. Anything else you guys can think of right now?
The only thing I was thinking is that we could just briefly demonstrate how to find the information on our intranet, Melissa. And I have it here. If you'd like, I can share my screen, or if you've got it.
Yeah, let me stop presenting so you can take over.
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot here.
Well, I've got it if you want me to share.
No, I'll pull it up here quick.
Okay. Sometimes it can just be hard to navigate our own sites, right? And find, but I noticed there was a link to Mutual of Omaha on your benefits page on the intranet.
Mm-hmm.
And so that could be kind of helpful for people to see too.
Absolutely. So I've got it pulled up here. Okay, so you can see we have all of this benefit information. And let's see. Now I'm going to have to find it myself too.
It was right there in the 2026 employee
Oh,
benefits,
the guide.
the flyers, down the last one.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
And then there's a Mutual of Omaha basic life and supplemental life. There you go.
So yeah,
and so
here's the flyers that we have. They're kind of buried a little bit.
But they're there. They are there.
Yep, they are. And I know the submit a life claim, the information is there. Do start with HR. I think that's very important.
I am seeing that hearing discount. So I'm curious about that. If you want to send a copy of that to me now you've really piqued my interest. I want to look into that a little bit more.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, because if that's still an active and live benefit for you guys, I want to make sure that that's highlighted too. So
I'll send that over.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm not the greatest one either, but take a look out here. It does give you all the information you need. And then the rates can actually be found in the benefit guide. So with the rates, it talks about our basic life insurance and then the voluntary life insurance. But if you go down to the bottom, it gives you the contributions, how much it is per $1,000 for your voluntary life and AD&D. So you can find your rates there.
Doug, thank you so much. This was wonderful. You did a great job, Melissa. Thank you.